Welcome back to the ECS Season 8 Finals, where now it is time to delve into our Group B competition, but we have shaken up the desk a little bit. I have the wonderful Get Right joining us up here. How are you doing today, Christopher?
I'm all good, I'm all good. Oh,
almost forgot. I mean, yeah, as soon as
got...
you said, Christopher demanded that I do this, so...
Hey, don't start blaming it on me already. Like, doing my
We've
first
got Dollar Hest.
Yeah, Dollar Hest.
Dollar Hest.
We burn this down every year. And
kind of, like, yeah, I'll explain a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll explain a little bit later, so I'll like show it off in actually it looks like, but it's a small tradition, which is not a good tradition because it costs a lot of money for the government.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's like a symbol at least.
Well, thank you very much, Get Right, for joining us. We're going to head and have a little recap even of our Group A bracket. We're going to take a look at what has been happening. If you guys have missed our first two matches of the day. Oh, we're not. No.
Oh,
we're just going to talk about it. We're going to talk about
the
first two matches. So obviously we saw just Liquid there beating NIP, unfortunately. And then the first matchup we saw Evil Geniuses taking down Vanguard. Any surprises there for you guys?
The surprise, I think, that NIP would have made it a more closer game. I actually think they would have a big chance because look on the maps they had in the end, it was like Mirage over Paris Inferno. And me personally, I've been seeing NIP playing a lot more Inferno recently. So I was a little bit like surprised they didn't go for that Inferno pick. But in the same time, I think they were happy with the map in the end. Like they wouldn't be doing it any differently. But when you look at it again, it looked a little bit shaky in the beginning. Then you see them are getting a little bit, momentum, and then nothing.
And then nothing, yeah. It was tough. It was a tough veto. It really was. Like, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because Inferno would have just been hard just because Liquid's also really good on Inferno. So, but they don't have many holes. So in terms of, I don't know. I felt like going into both matches, it felt something like 60-40 in the Avangard game against Avangard for EG. And then 70-30 maybe for Liquid NIP. And then part of it was because the veto was so strongly in the favor of Liquid. And then in the Avangard game, it was because they had to play Dust 2. So I guess you got the results you almost expected.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good matchup in the end when they're going to play, the winner games in Group A there. And I think a lot of people were expecting it. I felt like Vanguard actually had a chance there on Dust 2 on the second half. But, there was a lot of missed calls. They didn't prepare it well, it seems, in the end. Especially when it was one round when they made the first A split and Jane got a pick there and ran away. And they got 2 to 3 was stuck in the ramp there and seated to short.
Yeah, that was.
Then he had 1 HP stood between a Molotov. He couldn't escape.
But then Buster comes up cat, gets 2 kills, wins the retake by himself.
Yeah, he did. And also, I mean, that misfortune did with the Molotov on B there, for example, when it was 2v4 that happened. So, I mean, it felt like Vanguard at least had a big chance to actually turn around there, but eventually just Egypt ran over, it felt
it's the lay of the land, right? Sometimes
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to be getting into our Group B matchups very shortly. This one I am very excited for. It is Astralis versus Sharks. Maybe for the wrong reasons. I'm excited, but I can see the Furia element of Sharks coming through. And obviously they took them down last season, not once but twice, once in a best of 3 as well. But yeah, I think there's some potential here. I don't know whether I'm jumping the gun a little bit.
But do you think there's potential for double digits, or do you think there's potential for a win?
I don't know.
Speak your mind.
I think they'll get to double digits. I think the unpredictability element, obviously, because I mean, Astralis are back on that #1 spot now. They're kind of cementing themselves, getting back into that kind of era. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me as not an analyst.
I think it is fair to say that there's probably a good chance that Astralis don't prepare very much for Sharks. Number one, because there's no data of them versus Sharks, so then the demos get less valuable. And then it's just can they be asked? It's they're playing against Sharks, they expect to win. They might even game themselves too much by looking at a demo that's not their game. So I think there's a good chance that if Sharks do all this extra preparation, right? They're the guys, showing up to prompt to impress. They can maybe catch them off guard. But I think the veto, Christopher, is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, I was just looking over the stats on Shark, for example, and it seems to be playing a lot of Nuke and Vertigo. And I actually think personally they will try to get either of those maps against Astralis, because everyone knows that Astralis likes to play all maps, so they're not afraid to play them. But then it all depends on if they want to do it against a team they're not familiar with, hasn't played against a lot, and do they want to really do it in a best of 1 and put up maybe those maps? I'm not sure, but I know at least Astralis wouldn't be backing down if it was Nuke, for example. So that's why I'm a little bit hoping in a way Vertigo because looking at the changes the last couple of months with Vertigo, I mean, I haven't said anything like openly in public about it, but I don't really like to play that map. But with the changes coming up with it, I actually start feeling like now it's finally start happening something to the map. And there's been some things that we've been playing it since the beginning, like Liquid, Astralis has been trying with it, FACEIT started playing it a lot as well. So I think eventually the map is going to be like you enjoy watching it. Like, we're still a little bit not there yet.
I definitely enjoy playing it a lot more now.
Yeah, with all the changes they've been doing to it. So I think it's starting to become like a good map. But we will see. I mean, a lot of more teams are playing it. So that's a good, positive thing to see it about it,
Well, we'll be seeing our map veto very shortly, but Astralis' opponents are Sharks. We've alluded to them before. Just looking at their results from recent tournaments, I mean, their biggest performance so far was at EPL Season 8, where they placed 9th to 12th, and that's kind of been it from them, other than just online games. So there's, again, as we've been saying, there's not a lot for them to go on.
Yeah,
I mean, didn't they won like their group in Pro League qualifier though?
Yeah, well they also, I mean, they beat Liquid 2-0 and ECS Online. They actually creamed a lot of people. ECS Online, which is great. I mean, we know that they're I think they played at the minors as well, and I can't remember exactly what the results were, but they were scary. Yeah. Now I think Mayern is also a new pickup with the team, and he has been pretty beast. So I don't know. This is one of the situations where everyone's like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna pretty it up, make it seem like there's an upset that could happen, and I really don't think an upset will happen. I really don't think it'll be close, but I do think they'll be. Within the context of some of the rounds, we'll look at a team that's, oh wow, this should be on people's radar. These guys should be on people's radar.
I just love Leo's nickname.
Leo
Drunky. Yeah, I feel like he used the same random name generator that you did.
Hey, mine comes from a download software, so that's the difference. So don't try it like that.
Were you a little drunky when you downloaded the software?
I was like 6 when I got that nickname. It was from my older brother. So I don't know.
You start young in Sweden.
Oh, but come on! don't even try to do that. If I was like from UK, maybe we'd be like, it could happen there, But no, I'm from Sweden. We don't do that young.
Okay, not that young. Sorry.
No.
Well, bringing the competition back onto Sharks. Obviously, we kind of highlighted some of the players on there. Mayern and Lucan are the 2 Argentinian players. They're the newest to be coming onto the roster, and I feel like that's when we've seen a bit of an increase in their performance when those 2 guys have come onto the roster.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Sorry.
We don't really have that much to say about it, do we?
No, I couldn't really hear it because of the voice as well. I heard you, but I couldn't, it was too much in my head at the moment. But whenever they added in Mayern and Lucan into the team, it seems to be becoming much more stable and much more better than they were before. Because I remember Nuke was playing with them, the old school legend who was playing the Brazilian scene forever. Everyone remember him. I remember the last players. I'm sorry about that. So I forgot who that was. But for example, when they just added those 2 in from Argentina, and I just asked Lucas, how does it work? Because I don't know, the language barrier there. But I asked him, oh, is it similar to Swedish and Danish? Because we can understand each other, but it takes a time to really get, the whole understanding of it. And he was like, yeah, pretty much similar. That's what he said to me. So I think it's kind of interesting that they added those 2 players in, because the Brazilian scene has a lot of potential new up-and-coming players.
So many people.
Yeah, and the scene is becoming more and more and bigger for each year to go. So I'm very surprised they went with these 2 people. But it must be because they had been, they have a little bit more experience because they played in NA before that as well, in the other team they play with. Yeah. So we're probably pretty much obvious maybe they went for those 2 and actually get them into this team, and it seems to be going pretty well at least.
You never know. Also, regionally speaking, you don't want to cast too wide of a net when trying to describe people, but even when I played with my certain Canadian teammates versus American teammates, you got a different vibe from kind of both cultures. So if their cultures maybe slightly different in a way that meshes well with the way that the core was from Sharks, then maybe that's just a perfect fit, and that's how it worked out.
Well, we're going to put 2 players under the microscope. In our head-to-head, we're going to have a look at Mayern and Magisk and compare some of their stats from the past couple of months of games. Obviously, Mayern's actually...
Their stats are crazy inflated. All of their HLTV ratings are 1.25 or above, which is so nuts. But it's and they're the ones showing up to the matches they're supposed to play. Okay, so it's not like they're going and seeking out lesser teams. This is just the level they're at, and now because they've done so well at that tier, we get to see them here on LAN, versus the #1 team in the world. So those stats will be brought down a bit.
Yes,
probably today.
undoubtedly.
Yeah, undoubtedly. But that just goes to show you that they are just too good for the level that they were playing at before.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting to see that Magus has like 1.12 rating there, especially when like it hasn't gone that well the last couple of months, even though like they just literally came from like, well, not like I am China there, and they like crushed the competition there, 16-0 against FaCEIT, 6-2.
Or no maps.
Yeah, and looking at it, and before that they were a little bit shaky. They didn't really perform that well that everyone expected to do in Masters in Malmö. But just looking at it, it's pretty cool to see like he's putting up, his stats and his performance, and when the team hasn't really delivered to their standard. I'm not saying anything badly about Astralis, but everyone remembers from last year when they had like the crazy run with so many, LAN wins they had. So looking at this year, I think they're a little bit disappointed how the results have been going. But at the same time, they're a strong team, and they have won both of the majors this year, and they keep being the best teams in the world. So it's pretty impressive with Liquid going into the mix and doing a little hiccup for them there and there. But it's pretty cool to see how stable and good team Astralis is, especially when the scene has been catching up to them.
Yeah, and they took a nice calculated break as well, just when they thought, maybe we could use this for this final stretch, for tournaments like this, which are just so high profile, so many eyes, and just have the best teams overall, that they're making sure they're going to be prepped and ready for this tournament.
Well, you alluded to it earlier, Christopher, and we're going to be heading into our map veto. What are you kind of expecting coming into this, as it is a best of one?
Like result-wise or map-wise?
Map-wise, yeah.
Map-wise, I mean, if I was Shark and looking just how many maps I've been playing recently, I would try to get Nuke or Vertigo.
Yeah, I just leave it in.
Try to get see what happens.
And it is Nuke.
Oh wow. Okay, well that's really cool. So wait, how'd this go? So we got the Overpass banned Inferno. So they got all the maps they wanted to get rid of. Vertigo gets banned second by Astralis, so they're just like, let's not even give that a chance.
I mean, we said that was like pretty, like, of those two maps, the Vertigo Nuke, like Astralis probably wouldn't go for that in a best of one, at least in this time of the stage.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do it when it comes up to best of threes. They're gonna be more open to it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Astralis like pretty much ever back down on a best of one with picking Nuke.
Agreed.
Or at least opening it for the other team to pick
it usually comes down to Nuke and Dust 2 right there.
Yeah.
Sharks got their choice and removed Dust 2, which I think, do you agree, is a really good choice?
I think so. I mean, now I'm pretty sure it depends, of course, which side Shark starts on. I don't know so much about the team itself in detail, so I don't know how their Nuke is looking like. Because, for example, Furia, everyone knows they're not really taking a lot of like yard control when they're playing T-side Nuke. They do a lot of blowing up the door, going out vent, like attacking ramp blade, and then mix it up like that. So I'm not really sure what we're expecting if they're gonna start as T. Like, are we gonna do a lot of like yard smokes, try and go around under heaven, or if they're gonna go down secret a lot, or doing similar to what Furia does on their Nuke side, especially on T side. But I hope they start CT. Maybe you will get the double DDS casting there.
Maybe.
But I'm at least pumped. I'm very excited because I don't think a lot of people are watching, the tournament, seeing the matchups going up. They're not really expecting, Sharks doing anything special because they're playing against the #1 team in the world. But I think just because they got basically the map they want to play, I think they can play a tight game.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm hoping for it at least.
Definitely.
But we will see. Time will
I
tell.
think so. And if you guys are watching at home and want to get access to more in-detail stats, make sure you're subscribed to FACEIT TV, as you will get access to our premium pass to get access to 10 unique player POVs and a really cool clapping feature, which shows you who is the most popular player in the server. And if you're not sure about it, you get 5 minutes free to test it out. So I think it is well worth doing. But we're going to be moving into our pinnacle predictions. I think we know who we're going to be signing with, but Launders, let's start with you.
I think. Oh, the predictions. Yeah, I think is at the point where you're like, I think I'm just going to pick the scoreline because I don't think it's going to be. I don't think Sharks will be able to win, but I think maybe like a like a 16-2 or something. I'm going to say.
What about you, Chris?
Strauss looks so good.
16-7.
16-7?
Yeah, 16-8, 16-7.
Well, we're going to take a look and see what our casters are thinking over in the studio. Dan and James, what are you feeling about this one?
What do you think? Like album cover? Good?
Yeah.
Or more this way?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, back to
I feel
back.
like you guys should have like a Christian rock album or something.
Nice.
Yeah, Faith +1.
Praise to Jeebus.
Yeah,
Wholesome vibes.
From what we saw from Sharks online in the online season, it was really night and day performances. Like when they played Team Liquid, there was a huge upset. They played really well, but when they played other teams, they got absolutely smashed. So obviously, I'm not going to predict them against Astralis, but in terms of score, I think it's really hard to know what to pick because we've seen so little of them. 16-1. Okay, I'm not going to predict a score. I'll go with Astralis, but it's just like for me, it's just like how Astralis going to deal with a team that they have really no experience against, and B, what can the Sharks actually bring to this?
Well, yep. And Dan, you're going with Astralis as well, I imagine.
Yes.
Freya? Freya,
I think
let's go.
it's going to be across the board. I'm sorry, I've got to go with Astralis as well. But I
gosh.
think Sharks will put up a decent fight because they're looking pretty solid. We'll be back with you in a little bit, gentlemen.
Hest.
Dole Hest. Very, very nice.
That was not even correct.
Well, we're going to take a look at our Pinnacle fan vote as well to see which side the fans are siding with. I imagine, the Brazilian scene, they're very passionate. They're very passionate crowd. 84%. Okay, well, that was different to the way I thought it was going to be
backwards.
going.
I'm even shocked it's like it'd be even.
Is this correct?
84. No, it's backwards for sure.
It should be. Well,
wait, is this chat? Sorry?
It is correct. I've got confirmation from production that that definitely is correct.
Wait, is it chat?
It's on socials. Yeah, Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's at least they have the fans with
Exactly.
them. So that's pretty good.
Nice.
Even though, like, I wouldn't expect 84%, but in the same time, that's lovely to see. I love when the fans are passionate, and I love when they're standing behind their team.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take a look and have a look at our Pinnacle odds as well, which I imagine are going to be flipping a little bit in the opposite direction to the fan poll. And yes, heavily
Money
favouring
talks.
Astralis here. But I mean, that's not surprising.
Yeah.
Just before we head into our match, gentlemen, you got any final thoughts for this matchup?
Just looking forward a great nuking.
Great nuking. That's it.
A great nuking. Okay, yes.
Nuke game. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Maybe we'll get a new Nuke King today.
New
King.
Nuke King.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fantastic. And we are just about ready to head into our third matchup of the day. James and Dan, take it away.
Dan's he just doesn't put his headset on his ears, but I'm not going to tell him what is being thrown to us. So he's got to just deal with that himself.
That's fine.
It's lunchtime. Got to get the lunges in before the game begins. Lunchtime. Let the blood flow through the body. It'll be an interesting game. And I'm not saying that like as a generic statement, because I'm saying that as from the Sharks' point of view. Again, we've seen really cool things from them. We saw some really cool warbangs from JNT on the Vertigo bomb site, which I made a video of. So they're definitely a team which they're bringing things to the game, and we might see some interesting nuance there. Of course, they should lose, but I don't think it's necessarily an open and shut case, because if Astralis don't know what to expect, which is unlikely to some degree, because they're just not a team who are going to go into it like, oh, it's just a best of one. They're just they're not those guys. So they'll be prepared to some degree, but again, it's when you're in the server, it is a little different, right?
Well, Astralis are like the worst team to play against, because if you're the underdog team, maybe you can use that element of surprise against certain other top teams to maybe get that best of one victory. But Astralis are the most robust team in Counter-Strike. There's actually no team that has the level of robustness they do to their fundamentals. So that should be enough to make this a very convincing victory. And if we don't see that, I would be very surprised. But at least Sharks have nothing to lose here. I doubt they expected, or anyone really expected, them to get this far, to qualify for the finals. Yet here they are. This is a great stepping stone and getting some international experience, or rather international LAN experience, and getting to play these players like Astralis on LAN. So whichever way you slice it, this is going to be a positive experience for the Sharks, and maybe they'll surprise us, James. We know that they have some sick aim.
Yeah, win or lose, I want to see good things from this team again. This is probably the biggest opportunity they've had to date, and this is definitely time for them to perform. And I don't want them to come here and get smashed. You know, if you go back to like the FACEIT League days, we had some oceanic teams and so on who, I mean, some did well, obviously, like the likes of Boxing Immunity, and then some didn't. But I don't want that to be the case here with Sharks. I want to see them be competitive to some degree. Yes, they just shouldn't be able to take Astralis over the line, but I want them to be a threat in the tournament going forward, be it this game, but more importantly, the games after this game.
They've been thrown into the fire immediately, so we'll see what comes out on the other end. But yeah, this is it's a tough team to be up against. It's one of those things where, if you're the underdogs and you're going through the group stages, it feels so awesome if you're able to get that first match. It's like a very close game or some kind of an upset win. I feel like both of those possibilities will be denied immediately against Astralis. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do in this game, and we'll also get a glimpse as to, well, we get a glimpse of Astralis and that consistency and how they actually go about achieving that. And that's something we'll talk about as the game goes, you know, as we go through the rounds.
Into the chairs they go. Well, we will soon be starting off. And so, yeah, JNT is actually, he's a really cool player to watch. He's an explosive, aggressive sniper. We had great fun watching his matches when they did well, or you know, did like average and up. Because when he did bad, he did really bad again. It really was night and day. So I'm hoping to see more than that here on Nuke. I believe we have the 9th round to come. Everybody going into position. Always nice to see Astralis. Big fan of the Astralis boys. Who isn't? Well, I guess some people aren't because it's they want to see like crazy stuff and highlights and so on. But
well, Astralis
said they are the guys. Oh no, it's the pistol actually. So never mind. Astralis are going all Kevlar on the CT side, and Sharks will be the aggressors. JNT and Lucan will be the grenade men for the squad, and the remainder have got the Glocks out. That's interesting. Magic actually opening the vents. See how this plays out.
Quick uptake coming in, and Dupree's on the hut roof, so he's having all the fun with that USP, able to drop down for free as well, has the cover from his teammates, and there's not a single frag for the Sharks. It's not a good start for them.
No, that's 3 cheap helmets for Device, Zipex, and Glaive. They get the $350 helmet, which means they save $650 from buying the Kevlar all over again. And that makes a hell of a lot of difference to the Astralis side. Interestingly, Dupree pulls out the MP7. That's a curious one. MP7 versus the MP5, since they hold the same slot. The MP5 is worse, but has no traces, which is the one advantage it does have. But again, well, it's the Galil, which is super cheap, not the FAMAS, which, yes, it's lower, but it's still 2,000 plus. So the MP7 has a kind of a slow fire rate, I feel like. I kind of want to use it.
Well, slow compared to the MP9, that is.
Yeah.
I think that's the
yeah, the UMP is fairly slow as well.
Yeah, it's even slower, but Astralis are the most complete Counter-Strike team. I think it's fair to say. They're the most complete Counter-Strike team. What do you do against Astralis? Well, this round, you know, we can't really consider all that much. Oh, hello, Lucan. Able to find a couple kills here. That's kind of unexpected with the Glock. He's got 10 HP. So actually, astronomical damage has been done in this round somehow. That's very surprising. And oh my God, Lucan.
Did he headshot him again? He must have.
Oh man,
if they lose to a Glock.
There's no way, James. He's got 10 HP.
There is a way, man. But
there's no way.
Here. You need a lot of headshots from that range to kill these players. Well, that did prove to be quite expensive, and maybe it balances out the cheap helmets in the round prior. 2-0 start for Astralis, and we have the weapons coming out immediately for Sharks. We've got Krieg on JNT, on Exit. The Brazilians love themselves some Kriegs. Brazilians, Argentinians, maybe the South Americans overall. Sorry, just distracted by something quickly. Exit, Mayan, and JNT with the Kriegs and there are some AKs to boot as well. They are pretty low on utility, so we're talking about dry peaks, but maybe they're encouraged to do this, reading that there won't be an AWP at this juncture. JNT waiting to hop up. 1 minute 34. We've got Device being very active. He's moving around. He's just trying to spot for information. Not really looking to fight to the death, but looking to glean information and choose what to do. We've got Glaive on the low ground as well, and they wait for Sharks to make their play.
Very quiet. Not really all that much that Astralis need to do. Waiting to respond, and now they respond. The push comes down through, well, behind T-Red perhaps. Or maybe not. Glaive here over the smoke. This is just very, very annoying to deal with. They've lost a player. They know that the CTs know exactly what they're doing, and Device popping JNT straight away on the main roof. And things are, it's just so difficult, it seems, in this round for Sharks to get any ground. There's 40 seconds to go, and they're still stuck. They're just stuck here by the T-Red container. What can they possibly do? Astralis don't have to do anything because time is on their side as well.
35 seconds. 1 man for every 10 seconds on the clock for Sharks. again. It's about those dry peaks and finally get an opening, but they won't make their way in towards many, it seems, as Leo Drunky's taken out outside. Dupree patiently waits. Nobody in heaven just yet. There's still a chance for this. Oh my god, it's a 2 versus 2. They've got a chance to plant the bomb. We've got a Molotov going up towards the heaven position. How on earth if they turn this around? It was looking so unlikely. Glaive just with the footsteps will take Lucan out, which leaves Exit alone.
Really knows his angles, doesn't he, Glaive? But yes, Exit, he has a good opportunity to make this one work. Krieg, oh, Glaive, he's just got such a forward position. The off angle, unexpected. And that's a nice clutch from Glaive. Just that kill through the smoke, reading the sound, as you said, the footsteps, and knowing exactly what those sounds in that location meant. But this was a bit scary. Much like the previous round, Sharks looked like they were completely done. Then just right at the end, a couple frags.
You know, smoke that device set up for Glaive to look over.
Yeah.
Not the first time I've seen that recently. Pretty nice work. Got to be a warning sign if you see that smoke. As a T, you don't want to be anywhere near that, but if you have time pressure, then maybe your hand is forced. 3-0 for Astralis, but there are still rifles here for Sharks. They're still able to make this more expensive with the work done in the previous round, the bomb plant, the loss bonus. They have a 1 smoke grenade is their entire inventory of grenades. It's a cupboard of grenades. That 1 smoke grenade. So again, we did a video in our office once with a smoke grenade, but clearing the windows, the smoke went out of our office into the office above and set off their fire alarm, which is why the fire brigade came. But they were happy to get out of the station since there was nothing going on. So didn't get absolutely roasted for it, no pun intended.
Sure, they enjoyed their time being wasted, James.
Well, we were very apologetic. Had no intention of doing that. But anyway, 1 minute on the clock. Again, Sharks need to make inroads the hard way. Need to have their 2-man plus setups to have somebody take the fire away and the other people to take position with a trade frag. Zipex will fall back immediately. He's got some utility to play with, just a flashbang really. But of course, he also has his teammates.
It's really killing the time here. Sharks are playing it slow, and look how Astralis are sort of adapting to that. They're saying, you want to take it a long time? Well, we'll be happy to just play rotations here, and we'll slow you down even more. 30 seconds, they really need to get that split on the upper bomb site through, and it's going to be difficult here with Magisk in position, Dupree as well by the huts. It's not looking like Sharks are going to be able to have a good opening, because Magisk, how do they get up the ladder? And
they're going CT, I think, to take out the heaven position. That didn't work out, yeah.
They just have time.
Yeah, I think, I mean, bearing in mind they have no utility. Here we go again, it's a 2 versus 2, and the bomb is going to get planted after all.
Nice.
And now it is just Zipex. So we'll talk about the position later on. The bomb is planted and Zipex goes up. Does he have a flashbang for this position? Not easy to do this, and indeed, Sharks will do it the hardest of ways. So they were able to take the ramp with no grenades. They were able to get some people outside, get into hell. And it looks like they were running towards CT spawn to take out Magisk in this position, but the bomb came flying up. He's really done great work there to get that second kill. I don't know how the bomb ends up going into the bomb site. Lucan is there to deal with it, I suppose. So it is extremely unlikely, but here we are.
Yeah, it was a sick 3K from Lucan, and you know, Dupree had an opportunity there, but he whiffed his first couple bullets, and that was what did him in. So yeah, it was definitely a weirdly desperate spot, but here we go. Fast round into the vents. The Deagle doing some damage. Couple tags. Looks like only one person's able to get down lower. That's actually the bomb. So if the Drunky gets taken out here, that would be problematic. Looks like he'll be okay though. Uses a cover of smoke.
Ooh, some big damage through the smoke.
Doesn't seem like there's much left for Astralis to do here. They don't have a kit. They've got a couple Kevlars. They might want to hang on to those. Find a gun, perhaps, on the floor. That would be nice. Bring an AK into the following round.
War of attrition paying off for Sharks. So again, in the best of one, the way they've ground out these rounds to get into this position, you know, as long as you win, it's all good. So perhaps there is some danger on the horizon for Astralis. Device and Glaive with double scouts. We haven't seen AWPs just yet for either side. Just begging for that E button to work, and he does manage to escape. Exit. Nice blue knife. Got plenty of the Brazilian teams with Brazilian colours in their knives. Green, blue. So it's 3-2, and the money for Astralis sucks. They've got 2 scouts to work with. They've got $2,000 to $2,500 per person average. So I cannot imagine there will be much investment beyond what they've taken into this round, but we do see some Desert Eagles. So now we have a test for Sharks, anti-eco territory. 2 scouts to avoid, and it seems they're just going to burst into the A bomb site very, very quickly indeed. And as you can see, Astralis have 3 players around the ramp. Sharks may be nervous, a quick tap from one teammate to another, but nothing too crazy has happened. They've burst into A. And now the question is, what do Astralis try to do here? Surely it has to be an exit play.
Yeah, there's not too much else to do. So Sharks actually have really fashioned a good start in this first half. T rounds can be hard to come by, and against the likes of Astralis, no less. And a lot of it is that individual skill. I think we know from Luke and from Leo Drunker, we saw to get those 2 rounds in which they were looking they were looking like they had a pretty big disadvantage. It was respectively Leo Drunky in one of the rounds and Lucan in another one of those rounds to just have this clutch individual performance to turn it around with a flurry of kills. So that's really good. Seeing Sharks, find some comfort there is, in that sense, is great for them. And their money's going to be building pretty quickly. Astralis back on the buy. The Scout still featured, though, on device. And the rest of them with the M4s and the Krieg that was collected. So it's going to be a tough one for Astralis to kind of reassert their dominance again with that money starting to get out of hand on Sharks. But we'll see what they're able to do. Yes, this map is not one of those maps where you have a huge amount of options on the CT side in terms of aggression. But speaking of aggression, out onto the upper bomb site straight away. Not wasting any time here, Sharks.
Yeah, there's still a few more to get through the choke points. Magisk has done great work, kept it competitive. Device on the top. Only for a few seconds though. Another 2 versus 2 for Sharks where they're in the A bomb site, but this time they start to move towards B, it seems. So J&T is going to stay on the high ground. The bomb needs to be collected. So what is the play here? Exit inside the vent, and the bomb will be planted on A. It looks like a rotation to me, but this is a situation. Now, where are the CTs? They may ask. Exit has a Molotov. If he throws it, it would concede his position, so he has to be careful about that. Moving towards the squeaky position, maybe worrying about a flank. Sees nobody in the lobby just yet. Can rotate to join J&T once again.
Yeah, timing is pretty perfect for Astralis as well, because that does allow them to get out of the vent without being harassed, and perhaps into a position where they can work together now. Glaive on 13 HP, a single flashbang, and just pushing, just running up, and JT did not expect that at all. Exodus swinging around from the back from Squeaky, looking to try to use this position. They don't know where he is. There's the challenge. Zipex with the health, but not with the kit. And, oh, actually, no, he had a kit, but he was not in position in time. And that's going to be another round for Sharks, 4-3. Great start. It just gets better for them. They do lose 5 players, which will hurt their economy, but I think they'll be quite pleased with the outcome regardless.
Yeah. People put money on this. They might be sweating already. Magisk with great work up top to keep it competitive, but couldn't get that 3rd one. And now Sharks are in the lead. 4 rounds in a row. 4 Kriegs as well. Almost in a row as they leave spawn. And now finally we see the AWP. So it's taken 8 rounds for the CT side to get their first big green gun. Wildfire on this occasion. J&T's been sprayed to his demise by the likes of Glaive. Always good for some frags, Glaive. That's a nice way to start this one. Astralis in the 5 versus 4. Mayan collects the Krieg. Noted as a young future superstar. Very capable with pretty much all the weapons. So you can see him sniping on occasion, and maybe if they choose double AWP on the CT side, that will happen. Again, Sharks with the notable kind of South American slow style, if you will. They've got plenty of utility. Could put a wall of smokes outside if they want to. We reached the 1-minute mark, and Astralis continues to wait.
Smoke there to block device. Any vision? He's going to move a little bit closer, find some more information towards the outside. And these smokes, they can burst through those. You can see Glaive is extremely wary of this. Throwing a few bullets through. They will avoid that, but they don't spot device. Great angle. Not enough time to reload. Nice punish from Mayan, just in the nick of time to take down device, prevent him from getting 2. But Dupree on the hard roof is doing damage. Finds himself a double Zipex, cleaning up towards trophy room as well. And that's going to be a very nice round for Astralis, leaving actually 4 players surviving and evening up the score.
Yeah, they did not retrieve the AWP, but effectively drop one. Yeah, 57-50 in the back, so that is fine. Astralis may be stabilizing here. I think they have to be on their toes all the time, the way that Sharks are playing. Just trying to creep around the smoke. Maybe that smoke was supposed to be a little deeper, I don't know. But Device was aware of what might be likely in that situation, so Sharks unable to catch Astralis off guard. And you heard the thoughts of the desk in terms of the map statistics and the difference in level of opponent in terms of the individual output in the stats as well as the map percentages for Sharks. Those will be skewed when they reach this level. But I think one thing is, if you're used to playing lower tier opponents, there are things you might get away with, especially in your own region as well, that perhaps when you play the likes of Astralis, you might think is free or something, but there's actually no chance of it working. So I think that it can be growing pains for a team such as Sharks, but we will see from day to day if that will be true.
Yeah, it can be really off-putting if you play against a team that has odd timings and so on as well. So that, there could be some of that could play in their favor. For example, I think Tyloo surprised a lot of people. I think for those of you that watched the CSE match with semi-final of Mousesports and Tyloo, it's just, you could see how just being unfamiliar with an opponent's timing can just throw multiple individuals of a team off. And so it's only a best of one though, so there's not too much time for that effect to really pay off for Sharks. But here we go again, and no AWP to be featured by Sharks. We know that JNT is a beast with the AWP. Can be awkward on the T side though of this map from time to time. Speaking of AWPs, Devices taking a peek, having a goosey gander over towards the outside. JNT worried about any forward setups. That's what that Molotov will be designed to deal with. And this is a very slow but methodical movement outside for Sharks.
The fast wall of smokes, one in the garage as well, I believe. Oh, okay, we got a 3. We've got a Mickey Mouse on the outside. Glaive with plenty of spray, got to be careful. Sees trajectory, sees grenades. Oh, that would have been a nice pop flash, but he will just creep straight into the crosshair of Device. That's a rough situation for Leo Drunky, and there's a fast reaction from Sharks towards the ramp, but that will fail as well. 3 versus 5, 40 seconds on the clock. They start to move towards ramp yet more. The CTs have fallen back, but Sharks might not know that, or perhaps there's somebody with an off angle towards the ramp. They just don't know. They reached the 30-second mark. Glaive is rotated. I think he was, I don't know where he was earlier, but he's been low pretty much the whole round. Very unorthodox T side of Nuke. Don't normally see this kind of thing going on. Device spots one. 13 seconds now. What do they choose to do? Flying up the ladder. That won't work. Like he's been playing KZ or something. That leaves Exit and JNT to stare at the walls at this point.
Really, I mean, good stuff from Astralis. I think, one thing that we saw from this round, and we saw that was the difficulty for Sharks, is that if you don't try to force a play where, you're taking a forward position somewhere outside of wherever it is, Astralis are not going to give you anything to work with. So that round was so tight in that from that perspective, because as soon as Astralis get these, they hold these advantage positions, get a kill, then they just fall back. Like, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do.
With 2 rifles, Sharks, they'll have an open door into the A-bomb site, at least figuratively, but Glaive will have something to say about that. We've seen a few flashbangs into the A bomb site, but that hasn't been too effective on anybody standing on top of huts. Which is maybe something to keep an eye on for the rounds to come, but if they're just staring at the floor for the hut door, then I think they're not going to be flashed anytime soon. Dupree with a more aggressive position, looking to catch players off guard. And again, it's another slow round from Sharks. Not much happens before the minute mark in a lot of these rounds. They've got 1 smoke grenade. Maybe it goes towards Mini. Got a rotation from Astralis. So yeah, maybe that smoke goes towards Mini. The molly could go towards CT vent. But Leo Drunky's just lost that smoke grenade as he's taken out by Device.
40 seconds, there's ample time to go still, but it looks very expectant from Astralis that Sharks will be bursting through into the upper bomb side from Squeaky and Hud. So very difficult for Sharks, you know, very limited in terms of utility, but here they go, starting to push forwards, and look how favorable this angle is for Magis. He's so ready. There's a deeper peek from Magis. He's looking to wipe them all out. Spots the last 2 players. That's key information for the rest of...
Here we go
again. Oh, God. For the rest of Astralis. Okay, this... Oh, my God. He's absolutely dead, isn't he? Device gets fully wrecked.
How is this possible?
Again, it's happening. I don't know, James.
Down to the 1 versus 1, and they've won the round. That is a scientific anomaly. Okay. After waiting about 1:20, we have a guy crab walking out of the squeaky door who dies, and then Lucan again just keeps getting these multi-frags on the A bomb sites. It's just absolutely insane. Nothing happened for 80% of the round. They stand around, one guy gets picked off here, one guy gets picked off there, and then somehow,
yeah,
Lucan just kills everybody.
Yeah, that is really crazy. It doesn't make sense. Very well played to Lucan. Finding something to work with and making it work. And there's a quick burst on the hard position, changing the pace up dramatically. And it might just wipe out the economy of Astralis here. They've lost the upper bomb site. They're smoked off. They can't do anything. And I don't think that they have any money here. So, yeah, they likely have to go. Indeed, they're broke. They need to save all these guns.
The crazy thing for me is I wonder what this does to the patience of Astralis. Because nothing happens. You got to hold and stare at the angles for ages in the round. And then, you know, one person goes a bit too far and you pick them off, another person goes a bit too far, or, you know, crab walking by the vents and you pick them off. And then you lose the round and you've got next to no money. That's got to be irritating.
Yeah, that's really weird, isn't it? It's a very odd way to it's from a narrative, like telling the story from a narrative point of view. It's very weird because it's just like, yeah, Astralis, they're earning it. It's like 10 seconds left. Oh, they've lost the round now. So it's just I can't really analyze too much for you there. It's just one play, a series of a series of kills in quick succession. So lovely stuff from Sharks. They've got a very respectable scoreline already, James. Like having 6 rounds on the T side of Nuke.
Yeah.
That's and they didn't even win the pistol.
We've got JNT to come with AWP on the CT side. There's a big potential for that to be completely savage. Again, I don't know. I mean, we even us ourselves haven't seen too much of Sharks, so we don't know what their habits look like. But anyway, we've got a faster round from Sharks on the outside. There's plenty of sand queues for Astralis. Glaive is waiting for the guys watching the flank to rotate as well. And that's a bomb carrier, so they've got to be careful. Device has a chance for a second one, not baited by the jump peak. And Sharks are getting devastated for the time being. But as we know, we can't count them out, especially if Lucan is alive.
Yeah, and Devices, he's locked off the lower bomb sites. So look at that. Astralis know exactly where most of the players are that are remaining for Sharks, although one is definitely unaccounted for. I think Device only saw one towards the lower position. So Glaive, look at that game sense there. Arriving to Hard at the perfect timing. Device gets the tag and is finished off by Zipex, but he does get taken out. Exit. See, hasn't had too much action so far in this half, but I don't want to count him out considering what we've seen so far from Sharks. It seems to be the case that it can really turn at the drop of a penny. So here goes Exit. Magis with the UMP, so advantage on the weaponry for Exit, but he can't get the kill. So Magis will pick that one up and upgrade. So 3 players survive for Astralis. They really do need all of the rest of the rounds to feel happy about this in any sense. But Sharks, you know, what is the next call of port for them? Or protocol?
Call of port.
I don't know, man.
Nice.
Port of call.
The call of port. What was wrong with our brains?
They just went fast outside before they went fast upper. And it's, you know, before that they played a really slow round, which is the one where they surprisingly won with Lucan getting the 4K. So they've been mixing up their pacing in a pretty intense way so far.
Very unorthodox game of Nuke thus far. I'm really curious, like, what Astralis' perspective on this half is from their own experience in the server. Have they seen it all just yet? Who knows? 2 Creeks, 2 AKs for Sharks in round number 13 as they press on. See what they have in mind. Looks like the squeaky door is going to be exploded. There'll be a smoke up for the time being. Minute 40 on the clock. See what the pace is like for Sharks. I really wonder when they pull out that fast round. Just in general, how much it catches people off guard, considering how slow most of the rounds have been so far. If it's a panic from the opposition's perspective. But there we go. The initial setup, the initial grenades, and then things start to slow down. Looks like we've got a numbers game towards the ramp. Mayen's going to be the target with only a pistol, just bouncing through. But he's carrying the bomb as well. And here is Lucan to start getting the frags.
Yeah, the trade comes out just as quickly, though, so it doesn't seem like they have really converted much map control out of it just yet. Zipex has fallen back, so they do have ramp available to them. Zipex just playing it safe. Steady pair of hands, looking to make sure that he gets information if they do go down or if they cross from that position, and he hasn't seen anything yet. So Astralis have to be worried about stuff like this. Device gets caught off, and all of a sudden, it's looking pretty bad for Astralis, but there is still players in position to do damage here.
26 seconds on the clock. And Shark starts to creep. I think a footstep was heard in the lobby. Small alarm for Astralis. Dupree went with his duel, however. Magis going for the transfer. Won't work. JNT to do the job, which leaves Zipex alone with the M4A4. 1 versus 3 situation for him. He does not have a defuse kit. There might be one on the site. Will he pursue this, though? He'll get caught from the side, but Zipex a clutch minister now, down to 6 HP. Surely he doesn't press on. He's got more money than the rest of his teammates. Waiting for an overextension, which will never come. Sharks will be patient, and Sharks will take the lead once again.
Yeah, this is actually looking really bad for Astralis. They are looking like they're going to be opened up to an upset possibility here. You know, we all said that we would expect Astralis to have a very decisive and strong game of Nuke. Obviously, when they're at their peak before they kind of started to struggle and kind of lost their, or kind of were pushed out of their era just for a moment, they had a crazy streak on this map. And it was, interestingly enough, it was Furia, of course, that did actually break that streak. And here we have the Brazilian team looking to give Astralis problems. I wonder if there was any nightmares back to the days when Furia were upsetting Astralis.
2 rounds remaining in this first half. Shot towards the ramp is dodged by Zipex. A forward smoke from him raises question marks for Sharks, but they do like a slow round, so this might not be too concerning for them. They'll be busy elsewhere. There's some blocking on the ladder. Nice work from JNT. Hops off the side. This time he'll quietly go up. Hasn't always been the case in these rounds. Zipex boosted with his teammate to bait, so Astralis trying to suggest that there's only 1 player towards that ramp. We'll see how patient Zipex can be. Does he let 2 go before he starts firing? If they even go there. Minute 10 on the clock. This is still plenty of time for Sharks, but they are slowly pressing on. You can see JNT's well positioned on the silo to avoid Device's angles. Sharks not really creeping too secret just yet. We've got one by T-Red, and there's JNT finally emerging to trade Device immediately.
Yeah, the timing there worked out really nicely, didn't it? 4v4 as well, and Astralis losing their biggest gun. All the firepower in the AWP is definitely not going to be nice, but maybe Glaive and Zipex can make it better. Good setup coming in here, Zipex, though. He doesn't have a teammate to play off of. The Molotov denied Glaive, so that's beautiful work coming in from Sharks. However, looks like Glaive will burn down exits. That actually does make things favorable here in terms of the numbers, and the bomb needs to get planted. There's 20 seconds or less now to get the bomb on a bomb site and planted, and they have to go to the upper bomb site. There's no other call here, and Magis is waiting with the M4, drops the bomber. 8 seconds to go for the plant. Can JNT make it in time? Oh, he might just be able to. Yes, he'll just have enough time.
But he won't get the gun out in time. Oh, he won't plant the bomb, actually. Magis gets there in just enough time. That dance from Lucan was really interesting on the ramp position, suggesting he's going towards ramp, trying to draw out a CT, just about being able to do so, but unable to push into the A-bomb site. So as we reach the last round of the first half. It's tied up 7-7. We've got dual Berettas for Leo Drunky, so I can't wait to see what he has to offer with these. Surely this is a fast play into the A-bomb site. Dual Berettas in the last round of a half. How often do you see that? Getright's actually one of the rare people who uses this weapon. But in round 15, I think not. Pacifics, they're lining up for him towards that ramp. He's got a HE, he's got the bomb, he's got a smoke grenade for the choke points as well. He has pretty much everything he wants, and that's not a greatest of starts here for Sharks.
Yeah, with the bomb being where it is, it is kind of feeling like it's over in this situation for Sharks in this round, but we'll have to see. One thing that I think that's cool is that Astralis, they're just holding their positions. They're not kind of trying to run over to rotate because the bomb is dropped. Because if you do go for the rotation, then you're opening yourselves up to any lurkers that may be, waiting for such a maneuver. So, Zipex is a strong position. He can do it by himself for now.
Dupree falling off of the MP9. Little jiggle, spot some of the information. Sees 2 on the def cam now. And Magic has the position. They could go down towards B, however. Glaive spraying from the outside, and that leaves Exit. He's done great work, Glaive. Exit with 17 HP, with 1 minute on the clock, without the bomb, with a Galil, with no skin on it, versus 4 Astralis players from the best team in the world. Not an easy one, and there it is. Astralis, after what turned out to be a difficult half, will lead by 1 at half-time. We will see you for the rest of this after the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. It was not the best of starts for Astralis. 8 rounds is all they got on their CT side. This definitely opens the possibility up for an upset here. However, Glaive managed to find a 14-3 scoreline, so that's, I don't know how he's done that, but well played to him.
We've got a race car situation towards Secret. It's gone pretty fast. Sharks on the way down. This is going to be an explosive one. Pistols, headshots, not much else to be added to that really. That's generally the narrative. We've got a smoke up. Glaive will try to plant in the smoke. Leo's going fishing, and he's done a great job. Now that smoke has some time left on it, but the position is going to waste that time. Leo Drunky's still alive, and he might just win from this position. Got some help from his teammates as well. Mayan coming in to pop the pre. Sebek's still on the high ground, unable to really help his teammate Device. I don't think his steps have been heard just yet. Looking at the X-ray, Leo Drunky has no idea. Up he goes, and that sort of Device's opportunity is gone unless Leo peeks him, but Leo's debates now. Device can't really commit to that. Zipex doesn't have the range with the Glock. So it looks like Sharks are about to tie the score once again. 1 versus 4 for Device. But look at the angles. They want to force him to the point of no return, so he faces at least 2 players at once.
Well, at least he has a Glock, so he's got basically unlimited bullets. So, trying to find that opening kill, and he will not be successful. Very well played by Sharks, showing again, these guys are really dangerous when it comes to those aim battles. They sure can shoot. And this is something I think that's becoming more and more obvious in terms of the new talent that we're seeing enter the scene. There's no, if you get to this level, pretty much everybody's able to be pretty monstrous in some of these aim battles. And Astralis losing that pistol. That's the second pistol they'll lose. That's a huge issue, James.
They're going to lose the game.
They're in trouble. They might well lose the game, yes. They're in trouble for sure. It is early days.
That HE would have been glorious. With no Kevlar on these tees. But it went in the wrong direction. A saving grace for Astralis. That might actually give him position towards Secret, funnily enough.
Got to be really careful outside, because if they were Deagles, that's really where the Deagles get some good engagements for the T side. So you can see every precaution is being taken by Sharks. Although J&T will take a dink, I think, down to 31. But Mayan, we all know what he can do with a scope rifle outside. And Luke is protected. That's lovely. Well done by Sharks. They keep everybody alive, and their money will grow.
The AKs are now coming out for Astralis. Again, they won't have all the money in the world, so maybe with more cash they would go for the Kriegs, but it would be just the 1 Krieg on Device, Comfort and the scope for the sniper, and they are super light on grenades, Astralis, even with the AKs out, so you can see that there wasn't much question for additional Kriegs in this particular round, number 18. They've got 5 smoke grenades, Astralis. Sharks moving in towards the A-bomb site with numbers, and beyond that, actually, they're pushing the lobby, I think. But it doesn't look like it's going to work out their way. Magisk ready for it, just defaulting Astralis, and it just gifted 2 headshots for Magisk in the lobby position, with the CTs pushing the huts.
Yeah, that's really nice for Astralis. They don't really have to do too much at this point now. They just have to combine their forces. But you can see they're waiting for any kind of a push from Sharks. Sharks know that they're in a difficult spot here. There is definitely a decision whereby they could try to play a stack and just save if it doesn't seem favorable on the initial engagements. But we saw them turn around ridiculous situation multiple times in the first half, so cannot count them out. It's less than a minute to go now, and Astralis, I think, are starting to get itchy feet. These smokes are going to be going away. You can see they're starting to rally the forces in lobby. Ooh, dropping the bomb will be heard.
Yeah, that'll definitely be heard by JNT. But is that deliberate? Because they're moving towards the ramp now. But they're running towards the ramp, so that will also be heard. So very interesting times. Maybe they were just switching it from player to player. It'll be Magisk carrying the bomb, who is half health. 30 seconds as they move in towards the B bomb site. Maybe Sharks were baited by that throwing, because they're just staring at the A bomb site with 3 players now. But then I guess they can choose to save once they realize they'll hear those beeps, of course. So now they can choose to save with 3 players.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It was smart of Sharks to just commit to something, because if you're rotating, that's you can get caught on the rotations. You're very weak when you're repositioning before you've actually gotten set up. So they decided to just stay in one place and just if there was a fake, maybe if they were faking going lower, then Sharks would have got lucky there. But they do manage to save 3 guns, so that's well played by them. Magisk 21 for 11 right now. He's having a good game of Nuke so far, as is Glaive on 14 and 5. Although yet to get any kills in this second half. Here goes Magisk. Nice defense there. 1, 2, and that's lobby under control. That's a really successful couple kills, because that lobby push can be really dangerous.
Yeah, that was a calculated risk from Sharks. They know what happens if that doesn't go their way. And they will have the AWP on JNT, so now the real game begins. Now we'll see what Sharks have to offer. They've put themselves in a really good position, 9-9, and they've got an AWP on the CT side. Astralis will maybe cause panic towards the A-bomb site with that Molotov by Mini. Squeaky door blown off. Device looking for something outside, but they'll start to fall back. They'll be aware of what JNT is capable of, I'm sure. But where will he go? Will he be outside every round? Will he rotate, depending on what's happening? You can see Lucan on the ramp. You can spray through the corner of this box, but most CTs choose to use that time to fall back instead. Has a little shot onto Magisk, and again, this is the off angle we were talking about in the first half, but JNT will not be able to do anything with that. Maybe some nerves there, missing the first shot. Unable to fall back as well. That's a great start for Astralis. 5 versus 4, and they have possession of ramp.
Yeah, there's a lot of time to try to work this. They don't really have anybody outside though, so they're pretty much all in this position. So you can see they really want to try to spread out, see if they can have multiple avenues of attack, maybe catch someone out who is repositioning, something like that. You don't all just want to run into one position. You've got time to work with, so let's see what positioning you can get. And you can see that they are going to be able to get clearance of the heaven position by just boosting themselves up and go up the ladder at the same time. So really making it safe here, Astralis. And this, if they find a timing on the site with a flashbang, this will cause huge issues here for Sharks.
Exit with a very, very awkward angle. They haven't spotted him just yet. He's playing off with his teammates, and that's a great help from Lucan for the 3rd kill. Astralis with all the numbers in the high ground, and now it's a late attempt from the last 2 to plant a bomb, and Exit's just going to buy some time. 3 HP. As long as he's alive, then they can't win a round. Oh my god, or can they? Zipex now 1 versus 1. Exit dancing left and right, and he just runs into the crosshair. And now it's Astralis' turn to win those late T rounds. Disastrous start moving through heaven. Exit fired a few bullets, but I think they were dealing with somebody by Squeaky rather, at the same time.
Oh my god.
Damn.
I didn't even know you could do that.
That is beautiful. That
He's
right
playing
there.
1.6.
That is study. That's a hard counter.
That's so sick. Yeah, that was a great round from Astralis. You know, it did look a little bit hairy towards the end, as it seems like all rounds are destined to against Sharks, but still. And speaking of which, JNT with the AWP, you know, you mentioned it, he is very dangerous with the AWP. He's got great, very fast firing rate. It reminds me of Henny a little bit, actually, with his AWPing. Extremely fast. And there's another one. He's picked off 2 already with the AWP. This is a huge issue now for Astralis. I don't know if these guns are really recoverable, but at this point, the numbers advantage itself causes issue. And he's repositioned again, moving towards the main spot. It's smoked off by Astralis. Astralis do have a minute to try to solve this, but it's looking a little dangerous. And there's the cover from Leo Drunky, and just like that, it's a 1 versus 4. Out comes the Glock for Zipex, and JNT picks up another one. 4 kills, James, you set it up. You said he is a beast with the AWP, and as soon as he picks it up, that's all that they need to even just win a round.
Yeah, he missed a crucial shot in the previous round, but that's if he understands the fashion in which he was wall banged, maybe they realize that we can't necessarily rely on our usual bits of bob because the counters are going to be coming.
Just look how he teleports. Each highlight, he's in a completely different position, except the last 2.
Yeah, really nice work from him. But that's just that's the beginning. Well, that's a great beginning for Sharks on the CT side, if you will, since Astralis are now on the Deagles, although they know how to bait players into peeking advantageous angles for the Deagles, where there's minimal correction required. So we'll see if they're able to do that. But in the meantime, Sharks will need a lot more of that from JNT. That will be integral to success on Nuke. Opportunity to make a little cash here for Sharks. Big fan of Sharks and myself, you know, in the sea and stuff.
5 Deagles. This is it's getting uncomfortable for the Danes. It's a good opening from Leo Drunky, able to take one down outside. Mayan has some lethal aim on him as well, some great mechanics.
Glaive's shadow should be on the floor here.
Yeah.
So there's nothing untoward, there's no surprise.
Yeah, and he'll know that too.
He'll have to come off of a sound cube as well, so that's a lot of information to save Sharks from making a mistake around that position. We see Astralis looking to cause some shenanigans on the ramp. Lucan's good for 2. He's been really good this map so far. Finds himself a 3K Lucan. And he is 21 for 14.
He should call his. He should change it to the radiation M4 James and call it Duke Lucan.
It's not bad.
There you go.
Well, that was an eco for Astralis, and Sharks will make it to 11 now. That was some money in the bank, and Astralis will have to basically force buy. If you look at their utility, they've got like a random assortment. Like they press the button and we're just given what happened to be in the tombola at the time. Smoke grenades lined up for all the outside.
That HE actually went into the water. That's amazing. Completely missed. Mayan with a Krieg. It's a scary prospect. Oh, and that's a free one. I think the legs were spotted indeed. There's a small little gap.
Oh,
no!
Boy.
You can't be walking past that gap without getting punished.
Did we see him get an ace around that situation, around that area once?
He was at heaven and he just tapped down 5. Just ran across and just, yeah.
Yeah, very familiar territory for Mayan. And he will have some more targets going his way. Astralis hiding by T-Red. At this juncture, they don't have any utility left. So it's just about a dry peeking. Mayan won't fight to therefore choose to fight on his terms, but they've made their way past the choke point Astralis and they'll head towards the B-bomb site.
They have 0 grenades though. They have 0 utility. They have to fight their way into position. There's no smoke to get a bomb plant, so they have to get kills to get the bomb planted. Otherwise, there's just no way to plant it. Quick flick miss by JNT as Astralis start to try to work on getting that plant secured. They have to get those kills, as I mentioned, though. Zipex makes his way across, and he actually is able to get that plant behind cover. And here comes the CTs, all from the ramp position. Magisk actually making a good go of this. The CTs are separated right now.
There's one in control though, so we'll see what they're able to do. That's Mayan coming through the double doors. He hasn't seen one on the ramp, but that'll be taken care of by JNT, which leaves Device now with a lot to do. Pulls out his knife, can't pull out his gun again, and it's round number 12 for Sharks. Are you getting worried yet?
Yeah, James, Astralis, I think they're going to lose this game. I think they're going to lose this game against Sharks. And that would be amazing. That would be so incredible for Sharks if they're able to win that first group stage game, just because it just takes off a lot of pressure immediately. And you feel like, okay, now we feel like we can make a mistake. So it does make it's going to make things weird though, for sure. But it's not over just yet. It's a good attempt by Device, but as you said, Mayan getting through that into that control position was key. And now it's going to be pistols again for Astralis. They have utility this time, and they've got Kevlar to back up those pistols. So see if they can get anything running with this.
Exit is on fire. Does he realize? Well, he must do now because he's got half health, wondering where the other half has gone. He's expected so fast into the B bomb site. Now the question is about post-plant position. Dupree's gone very forward, and he's going to pick up a rifle, or maybe not. He's going to fall back, try to take it the safer way. J&T misses a flick, and the T's are advancing. He goes too deep. Mayan could go down here as well. I don't think he realizes there's an off angle with another T, so the retake could be a problem. And with the AWP, this might be a rough situation for Sharks. He's going to head towards the vent, so at least that is something, but there's a rifle to be collected on the ramp. Dupree has a Krieg and Kevlar. This by no means is going to be an easy retake for Sharks here. We've got Exit moving in first, Leo Drunky to try and trade. That bomb continues to tick. Only Mayan has a defuse kit. There are no smokes either, and it seems like they will fall back. This was an eco round for Astralis. They had a bunch of pistols, a race car play into the B bomb site, and they've won the round and kept things close.
Yeah, that's a really good look for Astralis, that's for sure. Yeah, the fast pace with the utility, really nice. That immediately having the bomb plant pressure is difficult, especially if you as CTs you don't have anybody in position and you're playing that retake. You can see it just really took too long. There's too many angles to worry about. So, and that's again that's just a problem of not having anyone in position. Like there's no one to like hold control or hold just any of those spots on the site. It takes too long. That retake there for Sharks, and they'll have to do better this time. Krieg's aplenty, and Mayan quickly into a 4 position. I don't know that we've seen him just quite there just yet, although I don't think that's where that molly was supposed to go.
No, it wasn't.
So he's going to smoke that off. I don't know if there's a cheeky one way to be had with that. It looks like maybe there isn't.
They'll assume that there is, though, for the safe play. Some spray from Astralis. They abused a smoke here themselves in the first half, thrown by Device from Mini towards this position. I think it was Glaive who was hopping over the smoke to look and find a kill.
Yep, it was.
Minute 15 on the clock. Jump throw for Glaive to clear the close left position. I think there's probably still space to fall back behind it. It's a spacious area down there. Mayan in towards the B bomb site. Sharks playing very defensively, not too much info for them. Device fishing outside. There is a gap though, J&T. He likes this position. There's a run bust and he's lost his ankle. If he goes back to the well, he's dead.
Yeah, and he knows better than that. They've actually wasted a lot of time so far with Astralis. There is 40 seconds to go. So Astralis is still on a decent enough pace, but it now comes down to spilling into a bomb site. And they've taken position around Heaven. They still have the opportunity to, well, they would have had the opportunity to go lower actually, but it looks like they have committed towards the upper site. So we'll see how well this goes. Exit's directly below, and Leo Drunky's playing the CT vent. So Leo Drunky's pretty exposed. There's actually 2 players down on the by the silo. J&T with that AWP. Vertical shots, not the easiest in the world. Glaive doing damage from above, but he's got to take down J&T. 14 seconds to go. The time pressure is real. Trying to bait out a shot, and J&T will be overwhelmed. And Astralis pick up another round. 12-12, and the money is actually kind of there for Sharks. They could actually buy here if they wanted.
See what they choose to do. After J&T lost his position outside, Sharks were basically playing with no information, gambling a 3rd person in the B bomb site and 2 on A, with no presence on the high ground. That proved to be a problem for them. There'll be a timeout from Sharks to discuss the proceedings. You can see the money there, so it's kind of weird. J&T with 73.50, Leo Drunky 5+, but the remainder are 3 to 3,500. So it's kind of higgledy-piggledy for the CT side. Maybe time to get out the abacus and figure out how they want to play this one. 12-12, the score is tied.
It's going to be interesting to see if Sharks can, if they find a recovery, if they go for the buy and everything like that and find a recovery, if they can if they can close this against Astralis, because that is, another story entirely when you get to a position of, being able to win a game, especially as an underdog. Can you actually play to win, or is it kind of playing not to lose type situation? Does that come into play? You know, that is definitely a hump that a lot of players who don't have the experience playing a lot of LAN competitions have to get over at a certain point. But, you know, insofar as how this round is going to go, we saw Sharks win a round like this before with JNT on that AWP, teleporting around the map. But there's already so much position here for Astralis.
Super quiet now. They've had problems with JNT before in rounds such as this, but they won't on this occasion. That's the big frag, the AWP taken away. Maybe the pace will change immediately. Glaive got to be careful because that Molotov from his teammate might hit him. Lucan is eliminated as well. Astralis may look to make sure the AWP doesn't go back into the hands of Sharks. Some short-term problems of Mayan picking off Zipex and leaving the bomb taken up, but there's so much time on the clock. That's not the biggest worry. Dupree collects a bomb, but he's got 12 HP. Creeping out of the squeaky position with the bomb. There we go, stereo frags from Astralis. And they take the lead now in the late game. Sharks will be back on the bye, however, and it will be a good one. Really tense stuff now.
Yeah. I feel like it comes down to this. I feel like this is where Sharks need to get that confidence, you know, through a round win, get that 13-13. You know, Astralis' money is extremely robust, so they can take a loss or two, especially if they get a bomb plant in one of those situations. So they're not really worrying for that. They're looking to be in great shape right now. It's all on Sharks to find a situation that works. We've got some aggression coming through the door, and JNT can't get an angle to shoot. Leo Drunky has found a tiny gap there on the hut roof to stay in position. And it looks like that may pay off here, because there goes Dupree. He drops down, can't find the follow-up, but Exis certainly can. The smoke coming in at a timely moment as well. It's a 4 versus 2. Sharks needed an advantage like this, but maybe it could still be taken away. And Magisk trying to get down there. The bomb's dropped. He's going to get the bomb.
Oh, this is absolute carnage. 1 versus 4 now for Magisk. He could do a hell of a lot of damage if he can get into position. He saw one on the ramp, I think. Let's create some space behind himself. Oh, that's cost him a lot just to make it a 1 versus 3. 7 HP. Still doable. Worst case scenario ticked off. The bomb's been planted. We've got one Sharks player moving towards the control room. That's Mayan. Magisk has got to take a forward position and try to do some damage. He'll hear the footsteps. Mayan baiting now. What does this read? Magisk, there's a 1 versus 1. Now there's only 2 more remaining. Awkward stuff as they move in. JNT with the USP to deliver the kill. Exit was getting low as well, so that was scary for all concerned. Sharks will tie the score, but there's money for Astralis with the bomb plants. Plenty of money.
I like how Magisk in that position is just thinking to himself, I have to basically just kill everyone at once, so I'm just going to stand in the open and just take the first duel and hope that they haven't like set themselves up correctly. This is a fantastic result. And let's also imagine that did a Molotov miss there for Astralis, because the reason why that happened in that way is because I believe, was it Luke, and I forget who exactly was able to stand, I think it was Leo Drunky actually able to just sit on top of the roof of the hut, and there was just a tiny little gap for him to do that from. It was Leo Drunky indeed. I just saw. So 13-13, and that, you know, that really felt like a must-win for Sharks in terms of keeping their heads in the game, being able to, you know, continue having good buys and really having a good chance, solid shot at taking this one against Astralis. But we do enter that territory, James. Can they close down a game against Astralis? Because right now they're in a position to do that.
Yeah, this is a very important round for all concerned. Very important round. See if the fans were right. Huge percentages. I've never seen percentages like that versus Astralis from a user vote. That's actually hilarious. Glaive now creeping around the smoke to hear the footsteps of May, and maybe he does, but Lucan from out of nowhere with a very crucial opening kill. Device down to 1 HP. He could be killed by a flashbang at this point.
He certainly could be. And Leo Drunky, he's got that FAMAS on the lower bomb site. This will be very hard, but he's got some support in XZR. And there's a nice pick off. That's a good trade. And Device is on 1 HP, so this is looking very grim here for Astralis. Just edging with its way forwards, but Exit with that creek, that scope, able to out-battle Zipex, leaving 2 players left. Dupree in a good position, but the bomb's not down just yet. He loses his duel and now leaves Device. 1 HP against 3 players. It's going to have to be a 4K on 1 HP, James, for a device to win this.
Exit had 1 HP as well, so that was an easy frag for him. He says nothing was easy. Look at the double peek from Sharks. Beautiful synchronization. They almost lined up for him, though. And with 100% armor penetration, that might have been very interesting indeed. But here we are. Sharks win that duel. I think they needed the money more because they didn't really have much left in the hole. Astralis could buy, and they will buy. But Lucan, again, he's been so key. So many multi-frags for him. Sharks shouldn't really be in this game, I feel like. But he's had so many impact frags in so many different rounds for Sharks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, to say the least. Some of the situations that he was able to help turn around were pretty remarkable. You know, they were down and out in many of those spots, all things considered. And Lucan, and also, you know, Leo Drunky had a very key clutch on the first half as well to give them one of those extra T rounds. And they can see it's really paying off here because it's still a really close game. And Astralis can still win this one. And they still have lots of money left in the bank to keep challenging Sharks. And we can't forget as well that one round that Sharks won where JNT had the hero AWP and was teleporting around the map with it, picking off everybody. So that was also an unlikely round that they won. But here we go. This is now very scary for Astralis because Astralis don't really have almost any loss bonus. They've just spent all of their money. If Astralis lose this round and don't get a bomb plant, they're going to be playing with pistols effectively against Sharks, and Sharks will be on match point. So Astralis kind of need to avoid that by winning this round.
Glaive's already so close to Mini. A lot of spam from JNT. How on earth is Glaive in this position?
He heard the drop down at Squeaky, and I guess he assumed that was the Mini player.
Yeah, this is really unusual. How Astralis has managed to just walk into the A bomb site? Like, what? This is bizarre. There's maybe some perfect timing from them. We've got a fadeaway flashbang from the vent. That's not going to do a hell of a lot, apart from tell Astralis that somebody is in there. They don't have high ground advantage. I think JNT is lining up to look into heaven as opposed to... No, they're going to save. Well, I respect that. That's a nice, fast decision from Sharks, but... How... Glaive just got to Mini, like, immediately and just kind of walked in.
Yeah, it looked like he gambled it based off of the sound cue of the player dropping fence. So the interesting thing about that is that you don't have to drop... There was nothing to be hurried about. You know, you could have just made no sound going down the ladder and then just denying that information altogether. I don't know if that was the key bit of information that gave Glaive enough to think, okay, I'm just going to try to walk out here because I get a one. He probably thinks he's going for getting a 1v1 at least with teammates who can trade from door. But yeah, that was a great read of the map there from Astralis, and that's going to give them that 14-14 scoreline, keep them buying. But Sharks, you know, they saved some guns. They're not out of this just yet. I have no idea which way this one's going to go. The fact that... Why? It's insane that Sharks are favored. It's just so nuts. 1.8 to 1.9.
Yeah.
Slightly favored on the odds.
It's only 2 rounds to go now. Glaive will eat a HE grenade, but everyone's alive, so that's a plus. So we're seeing a difference in play here from Astralis. 4 players just walking outside once again. JNT is spamming. Is he going to find something? No, he's looking the other way now. Oh, the timing of that is just absurd. He starts to shoot to the left as they appear on the right, then shoots on the right as they pass towards the left. And indeed, 4 players are now in that, well, downstairs towards the B position. No one downstairs for Sharks, it seems. And when they lost JNT's position on that prior rounds, not prior round, but previous rounds, and they were defending from inside the bomb sites, it seems quite brittle. There's so much unknown now. It's just complete guesswork for Sharks. They have no idea if anybody's around the B bomb site. This does not look good for them, I think.
Yeah, this is really bad. They don't, as you say, like they would need someone in control room earlier here. Lucan's the most forward player. If he can get kills though, that changes everything. He's done critical damage to Dupree's picked off one. Oh my god, he's going to get free. Lucan is an absolute god, and it's just Device and Zipex left to save this. How has it come to this?
Man like Lucan, his first peak was the bomb carrier as well, so he spoke about information. You don't need much more information than that. 35 seconds on the clock in this 2 versus 4. What do Astralis choose to do? The bomb collected by Device, but surely they are signing their own death warrants if they try to plant the bomb on B. All the Sharks players by the ramp. Device goes for the plant for Decon. Zipex is standing in the middle of the ramp playing a weird off angle. Gambling this is actually the perfect play in some ways because they're all coming from the ramp position. Device has got a Krieg as well. JNT still alive. They're lining up as well. This could be a complete massacre. No kills yet as Sharks start to move in. Zipex still waiting. Off angles being held. 2 versus 2 now. Astralis just might do this. They're still stuck behind the choke points. JNT, though, will take out both of them really quickly. And there are defuse kits as well. Sharks move to match point over Astralis.
There was a moment there where it looked like Device was about to just spray down 2 or 3 players in one burst. That was very scary for Sharks, but they've done it. They're on 15. Now just one more. They've at least guaranteed themselves an overtime to win this match. But, of course, you want to get it done immediately. And I'm curious what this has done to the money for Astralis. It looks like Astralis with the bomb plant are going to be good to go for a full buy. But what a save from JNT. They were frozen. They were stuck in the mud. They needed something, and JNT provided that. And now it's going to be down to this. It is tense. It's very tense. It's not the start that Astralis wanted.
Get the Shark memes going, people.
Imagine, James, if you got that money
Google
in on
image search.
Imagine if you got that money in on Sharks right at the beginning of the game.
I'm sure someone did. I'm sure somebody did. It's a patriotic
That said, it's not over yet,
fan.
so...
No, it's not over yet. I mean, Lucan, honestly...
Yeah, he's insane.
I feel like he's so many impact frags.
Yeah.
So, like, what on earth was that? He peeks, he sees the bomb carrier immediately. How he takes both those players out in control when he's solo health, I have no idea. It's just absurd. It is simply absurd. Excuse me. It's absurd. Witnessing these frags, I'm kind of dying round by round. All right, then. Last chance to lean for Astralis to avoid an early upset. And they do eat these upsets from time to time in the first round of a tournament. But this would be one of the special ones for sure.
Yeah. JT will be forced back by the fire, and at least at this time they'll have more attention towards the lower bomb side. Before, they were sacrificing having a player down here that early, and Astralis were able to walk down. So you can see that Astralis are trying to abuse the lack of presence around the outside for Sharks. And given JNT is indeed down in secret, he can't really do much to contest these open areas. So Astralis have once again found a lot of space on the map for absolutely free. And again, it looks like Sharks don't have the information that Astralis are in these positions. And that creates a problem because it means that their positions could get compromised very easily. And Device is waiting for this JNT. Oh, okay.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
The
punish. That's a huge punish.
That's outrageous, the re-pick from JNT. I said he was aggressive, but I wasn't expecting that. But this is where Astralis have found some success when they have been able to avoid Lucan at the very least. And look at Lucan charging forward to take out Dupree. Of course they can't avoid him. Down to a 2 versus 2. 23 seconds left to plant the bomb. It is Mayan now, the young boy, versus Zipex and Glaive. He spots both of them. He drops the bomb once again, 16 seconds. He doesn't even need to peek because all the pressure's on Zipex. Can he run down towards B bomb side? We are heading to overtime. That's a ridiculous clutch from the Minister himself.
Wow, he's down to 6 HP. Mayan was so close to that one. There's so many different ways that could have gone. But indeed, 15-15 Astralis are going to feel a great sigh of relief. But it's time to take a break. We will get to take a sigh of relief. See you guys shortly.
We indeed head into overtime now. It was looking mad ropey for Astralis. We've seen some outstanding performances in multiple rounds, especially from Lucan. He's really kept his team in the game here, heading towards the 30 bomb in normal time, but that chance has come and gone. But there's still a chance in overtime. Lucan will be heading towards the ramp, as you can see. Big action outside, at least in terms of grenades. Astralis will have to be very, very careful. That's a great pick, and that's a nice trade from Leo Drunky to hold position. But JNT has been a nuisance in some of these rounds, and he's dead for now.
Yeah, it's great to have him out of the picture immediately. And the question as well, moving to the overtime, has the best come and gone for Sharks? Is the Astralis engine just going to adapt? The more rounds that they play, it feels like that should give Astralis the advantage. But we'll see. Time will tell. 4 versus 4. A minute to go, and there's outside control again for Astralis. And this seemed to plague Sharks. They were giving too much of the map away previously, and Astralis took full advantage. But can they get the kills? What is the defense looking like upstairs for Sharks? They've got Maya in there, so it seems like they're aware of this possibility at least. But it does feel like the defense on the upper site with losing JNT is a bit thinned out. Oh no, it's quite a backstab.
Yeah. Indeed. Lucan thought he had the ramp. That's a lot of information for Astralis. Magic's going to anti-eco position, dealing with a lobby push, and this is not the round for Sharks for sure. Astralis may be able to stabilize now. Can they bring a dramatically different game the way of Sharks in this overtime? Magic's continuing to draw. Then Nuke and the Apple Krieg. Would have been nice to hold on to the AWP. You do need to save that in a situation like this in overtime. You need to hold on to that AWP. He fails to do so, and the money will quickly get very tight for the CTs once their full buyers come through. 16-15 to Astralis, first team to 19 rounds to take the map and the match.
So great place to be for Astralis finally. I feel like this has been a very uncomfortable match for them. Start was really rough. And here comes a very fast play, straight through the door. Mayan there is very safe from the mini position. And he's been smoked off exit. Hasn't been, though. He's doing massive damage. Great couple kills from him. Leo Drunky also picks off one. And now it's going to be a drop down to the lower bomb side. Dupree with the plant. And it's going to be up to Mayan and Nuke to get the rotation. But this repositioning from Astralis really is a masterstroke. Because they are, look how badly out of position they are.
They were still wondering if it was a bomb site, it seems. A Houdini act from Astralis, and they have some nice positions now. They'll have some sound cues towards the ramp, and they've got some great positions as well. Dupree probably identified that both players are here. Glaive staying close to his teammate in case he needs to swing, avoids the flashbangs. Dupree with a laboured spray, but he'll get both of them. That's 2 for 2, and the Sharks should be broke for this last round of the first half, and indeed they are. $2,500 to $3,000 per person. It's going to suck this round for Sharks. Astralis now looking like they're in full control.
Yes, absolutely. It looked so bad until right at the end for Dupree there on that first kill. And indeed, oh wow, Deagle Scout, MP9, MP7, M4A4. It's a variety buy. Now, oh, it's going to be a fast play again with the Nasal. He's looking for those opening picks. Mayan burning alive. Oh, it's not a good start here for Sharks. They're looking like they may get 3-0'd in this first half. Great push coming in from Astralis. They are wiping out the defense. Sharks have nothing left. Just Lucan, and he's out of position. So I don't know that there is too much for him to be able to do here.
Yep, 1 versus 5 with only a Deagle, no defuse kit. Kind of sucks. Lucan's done a great job so far in this game, but I think that this is way too much to ask. He's got to go for it though, because it's the last round of the half. He's taking a sweet time though, so if there is, I mean, if he does somehow manage to kill anybody, you know, he's got to hope there's a kit, but never mind. That is the half over. Astralis now have 3 match points. Maybe the best of Sharks has come and gone, and now it will be a formality. All these rounds, Astralis are absorbing information about their opponents. They won't be playing each other every week, of course. And that's partly the test for Sharks as well, how they can adjust once their foes are familiar with them. Well, they've got it all to do now on their T side. Again, they had really slow rounds on the T side. 5 Kriegs on deck. No AWP for JNT, favouring the CT angles for that, it seems. And away they go.
And they're going to go fast, it seems. Nades through the door as well, just much like Astralis, but counter grenades will keep them at bay for now. And just will re-smoke off the squeaky position, so maybe in for a slow one now, as neither side has gained a kill just yet. You can see Sharks actually looking like they may go for a... They could still, you know, re-execute into the upper bomb side here. They don't have any control outside. They're just holding passive positions around lobby. That can be a spot that's good to spam once you get the molly on the hot roof.
Perfect timing, man. He's half health.
And the T's have not won out on these exchanges. Dupree, look at this forward position.
Here's footsteps on the roof. This is really tense. Again, Sharks can make no error, really. There's the flashbang coming through. Magic has great position. Molotov in front of the door as well. Strong spot for Astralis at the moment, but we've seen these rounds turn around, even in a 3 versus 5. 40 seconds might feel like a hell of a long time for Sharks to try and get something done here. Magic's picked off, and there goes Glaive just as I say that. Now it's a 3 versus 3. Dupree still on the side, smokes up, Molly's up, and even more smokes as the bomb seems to head downstairs. Exit takes one in the face, and Device is just waiting for them. How on earth has JT gone down the ladder? Device still alive for now, but now it's a 2-on-2.
Yeah, that is crazy that there was he was not able to hit a single player there. And indeed, 2 versus 2 with the bomb now planted. Lucan covering the back. Oh, he's so favorable in this position, but that's such a great swing from Dupree. Gets the instant ding. That pressure forces back Lucan. JNC still on the bomb side there with the Krieg, looking to try and defend. He's repositioning as well. This is getting really awkward here for Sharks, as that repositioning may have been just a beautiful stroke of genius there. Zipex now the 1v1, and of course he's able to do it. Zipex always reliable, and that's going to be it. It's going to be enough time for the defuse, I think, and Astralis, James. I think they've... they can be very happy that they managed to win this game. That was dangerously close to an upset.
Yeah, that was really close for Sharks, but has to be said from Astralis' POV, that was a disaster avoided. I think you called it 16-1. Is it 16-2?
Yeah, I just wanted to troll the Wonders.
The Wonders called and ended up being a 19-15. Sharks taking Astralis to the limit, but I really have to say that I feel like Lucan saved a lot of rounds for Sharks in that game, but it was pretty fun to watch. And maybe that's a warning shot to the other teams in this tournament. I don't know how Sharks would feel about that, disappointed that they came too close or impressed that they took them so far.
Yeah, if you're going to lose a game, at least, you know, in overtime, it's going to feel like, oh, we could have won that game. But that's a better feeling than getting blown out of the water. And on top of that, seeing those individual performances, as you say, it's a good look going forwards that somebody like Lucan and like Leo Drunky and JNT, they're all having these rounds. They're all able to get performances against the best in the world. So if they can do that against Astralis, I feel like no team should really show us a complete blowout, because they can at least brag, and that's important.
They absolutely can. And while we're here, we'll tell you guys at home that there is a Black Friday sale on CS Money. So you got all the information between my hands right there. Look at that, it's like a CS Money burger. So if you want to get yourself some skins on Black Friday sale, then there we go. fce.gg/CS Money. Get yourself some Shadow Daggers or whatever else you want. Plenty of fun stuff to be had. Well, again, Sharks did really take that a hell of a lot further than I think anyone could have expected, but the fashion in which they did is almost like bizarre. Just so many rounds, like Lucan just getting 3 kills, round after round after round after round, absurd situations on that original T side, just starting like 2 versus X and just turning it around. Sue is with the winners though, and maybe they can tell us about their experience in that game of Nuke.
Indeed, I'm sure Magisk will. Congratulations, Magisk. You guys take down the Sharks, but it was a very, very close series going all the way to overtime. So initial thoughts on the game being as close as it turned out to be?
I think we played good CS today, but every time we were like in a 2 versus 5 or 3 versus 5, we were taking too many duels and ended up losing rounds we shouldn't be losing. Other than that, they were just playing good CS as well and taking advantage of us making mistakes. So I think it was a mix of them playing good, but also us just being a bit too eager of trying to close out the rounds instead of just playing the man advantage and playing the good situation we were having. So yeah, we played good, and they also did. I think they're a promising team, and yeah.
A lot of what you just talked about just now happened in that first half, where we saw that the Sharks were able to win the 2v5, etc. So going into that halftime, you know, what did you guys talk about to sort of get things together headed into that second half?
We were talking about just playing the situations that was in our favor and stop making like individual plays when it's not needed. Like every time you get a 2 kills, there's no reason to go for the third one and trying to be a hero in the rounds, and just, you know, play good as a team and winning the rounds we're supposed to. Also, they were just like winning. They were playing good individually. Like they had a round with only 1 AVP and won that, and we just, you know, we lost some stupid rounds, but props to them for playing some good CS and pushing us all the way to the edge.
100%. The Brazilian team's proving once again how dangerous they can be as soon as they get some momentum going. But for now, you will be moving forward to that winner's match, and it's going to be either Fnatic or it might be, of course, Fnatic coming off of that recent Malma victory, and it might be starting to show some of their old form once again. What are your thoughts?
Well, we're going to do like any other match, and it doesn't matter who we're playing, because we're going to prepare like we always do and do our best to be better as a team. And you know, we always have to play yourself into the tournament. At least us, we have to. The first game is always difficult to play, so we just need to take one map at a time and work our way into the tournament. So yeah, I'm just looking forward for a good match no matter what.
Well, thank you very much, Magisk. We are going to be right back, guys. When we come back, it'll be the last opening match of the day from Group B with Fnatic taking on MIBR.